Okay, I have to refilm this because I was accidentally filming in slow-mo for some reason. I don't know how I did this. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know. It's a new camera. Yay! Okay. Maybe I should stand for this because this is kind of a busy background. Okay, I think that's better because it's less busy behind me. I'm just staring at myself. Okay. I'm in my comfy clothes because I worked from home today, so I am just in some cozy clothes and I have some books to talk about. So I got some books for Christmas from my sisters-in-law. Is that sisters-in-law? And because I have minimal shelf space, because I only have one big bookshelf and then I have like little shelves, I have to get rid of some books. So I have a book haul and a book unhaul. Only like 6 or 7, so. Okay, first things first, we're going to talk about the books that I got. I don't know the synopsis of some of these because I gave my sister-in-law a list of books and she just bought from that list. And some of them have been on my list for a long time, so I don't remember what they're about. So, okay, the first one is Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Wong. This is a book about a girl who becomes obsessed with another girl, and there's the technology where you can like become one with that person and understand their memories and their trauma and that kind of thing. So I've heard mixed things about this book, but I'm really excited to try it and see where I stand. This one I have no idea what it's about. I remember somebody recommending it. I can't remember who it was. It was somebody on the internet who said it was a really good book. I think it's a thriller or a horror maybe. It's Evil Eye. It's just kind of a fun cover. I remember trying to find this in the library and it not being a thing, so I ended up just getting it instead. If it's a good book, let me know. I have no idea. Next book that she gave me was Old Enough by Haley Jacobson. This is a story about a bisexual, and that's all I know. And it's like a coming of age story, and it's messy. And then I have 2 that I bought myself recently. You've got The Raven Scholar. This one I have heard only good things about, and people are obsessed with it on the internet right now. So I figured I would give it a shot, even though it's pretty big of a book. How many pages is it? 648 pages, so it's the first of a trilogy. I typically try and stay away from these kind of fantasies just because they take forever to read. But you know, I got into Jade City, and those are pretty chunky books, so I think I can probably get through it. And then finally, the biggest book of them all. Oh my goodness, it's so heavy. I didn't know it was gonna be this big. This is The Wicked and the Divine graphic novel compendium, and it's massive. But it was really cheap, so I thought it would be smaller, but alas, it's not. Okay, now for the books I'm going to unhaul. These are gonna be some unpopular opinions, but you know, what else is new? So Hawthorne Legacy, this is the second one in the Hawthorne trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. Oh, Inheritance Games. I don't even know what they were called. This is the Inheritance Games trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, and this is the second one. I liked the first one well enough. I got it from my sister-in-law, like she let me borrow it, I believe. And so I don't have the first one anymore, and I didn't really see the reason to keep the second one when I didn't like it that much. This one is Of Ice and Shadows, which is the second one to the Of Fire and Stars trilogy. I don't know, it's a young adult fantasy book. I read the first one. I remember it being queer, and one of the I don't think it was one of the first queer books I read, but it was pretty early on in my queer book reading. And so I remember there being a lot of things about horses. And I'm not really interested in that. Not a lot of YA sequels. Girls of Fire and Shadow? Of Storm and Shadow, my goodness. This is the second one after Girls of Paper and Fire, which was a really rough book. It was had a lot of rough things in it. Read the trigger warnings if you're gonna read that book, because my god, there were brutal scenes and they were graphic. So, this is the first autistic book I'd ever bought when I first got diagnosed, or I was thinking about getting diagnosed. And now I've heard some mixed things about this person. And also she was diagnosed at a very young age, so her whole thing was kind of different from my experiences, so I couldn't relate to a lot of things that she was talking about. Let's see how long I've had this book. This book came out in 2018. I have no idea why I bought it. It's gay, and that's all I know about it. I think it's also rivals to lovers, which is not a thing I'm a big fan of. So it's going. Don't know why I've kept it so long. And the last two are two romances that I read for a vlog. One came in a book club box that I had, and then the other one's an Emily Henry. I know, I'm sorry. But they are Rules of Ruin and People We Meet on Vacation. You know, I'm actually gonna watch the movie of this because I have a tendency to like romance movies more than I like romance books. So that's coming out soon and I'll probably watch it. This one, I just was not a fan of. It was just the opposite of what I wanted from this book. So I do have a clip of Animal Crossing. My wife and I started over our Animal Crossing island again. So I wanted to show what islanders we got. We got Sherry, who's a monkey, and then Dom, who's a ram, and way cooler than the original people we had. We had two sports guys, and I was just not for it. New calendars because it's the new year. I got a NADPOD calendar, not another D&D podcast. Very cool. That one gets donated, money from it gets donated to Palestine, so I'm really interested in every year. A calendar from one of my favorite artists. She doesn't have her name on here anywhere. It's like GDB Arts. It's like GDBEE Arts. So I'll verify that. This is what I mean by my shelves being a mess and completely full. So you've got this bookcase that's in my bedroom, and you've got like all these cute little things, but they just look like a mess. Like this is what Casey got me for Christmas. It's the little pin from Silent Hill F, and then you've got a Hinako from Silent Hill F, because I have a problem with obsession. And then you've got Marjorie Tyrell's crown from Game of Thrones, and you got some Pikachus, and then this used to be my ferret's hat and one of her toys. Some Pokemon cards my dad got me for Christmas. You know, this isn't even a bookshelf area. This is just a jewelry box plus my special things box. And everybody got me 3D printed critters this Christmas, which I think is wonderful. And then down here, we've got kind of like my priority read list plus another Pikachu. And then graphic novels. Like, there's just no room to read anything more. If you come in here into the office, I have more books. I've got my mass paperback books in here with some more stuff. And then to the side, you got more graphic novels and some... Oh, I need to change that. I've read one book so far. More graphic novels. We got coffee table books. My little bookshelf that I made. So cute. And then you've got the cart. The cart that's just a mess. You got all my fruits basket down there. I think the wheels are going to fall off because it's too heavy. Got this bookshelf over here. But it's supposed to technically be up on its side. And so that's why you have these really big parts and then the really small shelves. And so I can only put books on some of them. And so I have bookshelves everywhere, but they're all full. Well, that's from what I'm reading right now. I got this Lego set, and just like the Upside Down, it has seen some shit. The box came in and was like half squished. So we're gonna put this together today, at least some of it. It's so cute. I know these are kind of ugly, but I bought the Spice Girls one because I love the Spice Girls, and then I really love Max. I think she's great. And she's represented here, so, you know. Okay, I'm making 11, and I find this kind of unsettling. You can kind of see the shape of the side of her head going, and then she's... no face. Why does the face come last? Why am I making the side for face first? This is... I don't like it. Anyway, yeah. That's my update. Okay, Did I decide to give you a reading update in the middle of building a Lego? Yes. I didn't want to get my camera or my tripod out, so you're balanced on a candle and a popcorn bucket. Fun. I finished Bloodmarked, the second book in the Legendborn series. I can't really say much because it's obviously a sequel and the entire premise of this book is kind of a big spoiler for the first book. But what I appreciate about this book is that, oh my god, this light is terrible, is that Bree doesn't really, she still doesn't know how to fight. And she still is kind of bad at everything, that like protecting herself, protecting others. She's trying her best. And I love that for her. I think it's great. But the only thing that really annoyed me about her was that everyone kept telling her, hey, you need to stay safe and you need to stay away from everybody. And she was like, no. Which I appreciate because obviously there would be no book if she was just hiding the whole time. But also I understand where everybody else was coming from and it kind of got annoying. But I really like this book. I gave 4.5 stars just like the first one, and I'm excited to read the third one. I don't know when I'm going to get around to it, but it's a priority. Also, this talked less about grief than the first one, but it did still have some lines in there that really hit hard, so careful. The next book that I'm reading, I don't have the cover. I just realized I don't have the cover. Oh, and we're turning. It's sliding on the candle. This is Woodworking by Emily St. James, I believe is the name. I think this is also upside down. I'm a mess. This is a story about two trans women. One is a teenage girl in high school and the other one is her English teacher. Yes, English teacher. Abigail is the teenager. She's been out for a couple of years. She's been kicked out from her family, like her parents kicked her out of the house for being trans. And then you have Erica, the teacher, who hasn't come out to anybody yet except for Abigail and is still trying to figure everything out. So she's still getting dead named by everybody except for Abigail. She's still trying to figure out what it means to be trans and kind of how that works for her and how fast she wants to kind of come out to everybody. And she's very apprehensive, which is fair. It's scary coming out to people. I don't know anything about coming out with a different gender, but I do understand sexuality. So is this still rotating? So I really like these characters. I really care about them a lot. The story gets very sweet, but also if you do have any gender dysphoria or anything like that, or maybe you've come out as trans, I would be careful with this book because there is dead naming in here. They are all blocked out. Anytime Erica uses her dead name or somebody else does, it's blocked out, which is nice, but she does question a lot and she does have some hurtful things to say about herself, especially in one chapter. She is like, oh, I'm done. I'm not going to transition. And she says some very hurtful things about herself. So this, I would be careful reading this book if you are LGBT. There are a couple of LGBT slurs in here. I've only seen 2 so far, but I would just be careful. But it's so cute and so sweet. And I just root for these characters a lot and I just want them to be happy. That's all I want. Currently I am further than I thought. I'm on page 157, so I'll give you an update on that. There's snow on the ground. Oh my god. This is the first time it snowed this season and it's January. Utah has been warm, which is a problem. But look, the snow! I'm so excited. So cute. It's so popular. Yeah, baby. So popular. Why? So I have an update, a reading update. I didn't bring any of my books here to actually update you with that, but I took a break in woodworking because it was getting too depressing. I said it was a fun time and that it was wholesome, and that changed drastically. It became very much about their families and their friends and kind of being outed, and also Abigail, who was the younger one, her parents kicked her out of the house, and now they're saying that they want to meet, or they're gonna get the law involved because she lives with her sister, and so things took a real dark turn. And there was a dead name in there that wasn't blocked out, and I understand why. Like, I understand it was for shock value, or maybe not shock value, but to really make you feel the feelings of the character and how awful it is to be dead named. But it took me by surprise, so be very careful. I was wrong when I said that there was just all the dead names were marked out. That's not true. I took a break from woodworking to read Oathbound by Tracy Deon. I've been reading that trilogy for the past 2 months now, and I finally have the third one from the library, and it has multiple points of view to it, which the other one just came from Bree, the main character's point of view, and now it's different point of views, and it's thrown me off. Like, you want me to just hear from a man after reading from a girl's point of view this whole time? Like, I don't know how I feel about it. That clip where I was so excited about it snowing, it's all melted. Has not snowed since. So, living our best lives, you know? Global warming. So, and it's supposed to be in like the 40s, the low 40s. And that's just wild to me.
What's wrong, baby? Is somebody on the refrigerator? Oh, don't show your butthole. She's so upset. What is she doing? Yeah. It's okay.
I finished woodworking. I actually have the book cover this time. I finished Woodworking by Emily St. James. I really like this book. I gave it 4 stars. I loved how it kind of played with the point of view. Like Abigail, who was more comfortable with who she was and really understood, who really was confident in being transgender, used first person point of view, where Erica, who wasn't really comfortable being herself yet, it used third person point of view, which I thought was really interesting. And they also played with pronouns a little bit, where there's a chapter where Erica is questioning whether she actually wants to transition, if she just wants to go back to being pretending that she's not a woman, that she's the way that she's lived her entire life. And during that, she starts using he, him pronouns, and when she kind of forgets, she accidentally would call herself Erica and use she, her pronouns, because that's who she was really meant to be. So I thought that was really interesting, and this definitely was a lot darker than I thought it was going to be, because the first half of the book kind of didn't really go in depth with any trauma or any, like, it did a little bit, but you don't really see like Abigail get dead named. You don't see the consequences of what happened with her parents. You don't see any of that for a while, and then I feel like in the second half of the book things really take off, and really you see how hard it really can be. And I personally have never struggled with gender or anything like that, or my gender identity. Just my sexual identity, I guess. Coming out as bisexual. This has a lot more stigma. Like, this came out in 2016. Well, it takes place in 2016, sorry. This takes place in 2016, right before the election, and all of these characters haven't really faced a lot of issues politically yet, because they're still thinking Hillary might win. They still think there wasn't a lot of what's happening right now. But this was published this year, and there's even an author's note about how much worse things have gotten for transgender people, especially politically speaking. and these laws that are being passed, and the Supreme Court is even talking about banning transgender girls from sports. And so it's an interesting take just because you don't see a lot of that yet, but they live in a small town where you can get fired for being transgender from your job. And there's a lot of religious aspects. And I live in Utah. I am not ignorant to the fact that there's a lot of religion in this state, and there's even, put this down, Salt Lake City was once named the gayest city in the country because what happens is you have this huge area of religion in the state of Utah, and when you come out and when you become comfortable with your sexuality and your gender and things like that, you move to Salt Lake City just like everybody else does. So pride is very big in this state. But it's not widely accepted outside of Salt Lake City. So it's hard to live in those cities. And this was very similar to that because they live in some small town. South Dakota. So I guess South Dakota is just as bad, but there's a lot of religion and there's a lot of talk about politics. So if you are not happy with what's happening in the political climate right now and you don't want to read something that's heavy like that, I would skip this one. But if you do want to learn more about what it's like to be transgender and coming out and accepting your identity, I would definitely pick it up. Just be a little careful because things do get pretty dark. And then I'm so excited. I ended up getting this in the mail. Emily Austin's new book, Is This a Cry for Help? Her last book, We Could Be Rats, was my favorite book of 2025, so I'm really excited to get started on this one. I don't know if I'm going to finish the third Legendborn book first, because I got that from the library, and it's heavy, it's hefty, so I need to really get to that one before it's due back at the library. But I really want to pick up this one. Not that the other one isn't good, it's also very good, but yes. So I think that might be the end of the video. I don't know if I have any other random clips that I can kind of splice in here, but I'm probably going to do a January/December wrap up because I read the Legendborn series that were so big that I didn't read a lot of books during those months. So I'll probably come out with that next, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye!